Hello everyone, Aarolei here from the Crystal Chronicles podcast. Today we are going to do the Soaring Flames boss rush event. It is our first boss rush. I'm very excited that we finally have this event on global. It's very cool and it's really fun. I'm going to talk about some tips and things to do in just a moment when we get started. But the coolest thing is it's kind of like Heretics in that you set up these parties, and when you do that, you only get so many actions per party, and that means any kind of action. So you only get to use the characters once, you only get to use your summons once, you can use calls as much as you want across your teams. So with that said, I'm going to go in with my first team today with Firion, Kimahri, and Gao. And before I do that, I just want to remind you guys, you can always join us live for the Crystal Chronicles podcast on Thursdays at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 8 p.m. Central Standard Time, or watch anytime on YouTube or your favorite podcast viewing or listening app. Let's get into this. Alright, I know a very popular setup has been to use Firion, Gao, and Gladio together, but I do not have Gladio, so I had to compromise, and this Kimahri works pretty good for the job. Cat scratch. Alright, so this first boss does not have a Lufenia orb at all, but it is very tanky. This Prominence man, he's got a lot of health comparatively speaking to the other two waves, it feels like. So just be aware of that. So that's why off-turn damage, launch damage, follow-up damage of any kind can be very powerful in boss rush because it is essentially extra free damage across the board. So, alright, let's open up with that good old bad breath. I actually am going to try to avoid mostly using Nova, only because the misses are very, very annoying and keep Gao from counterattacking. But honestly, I don't think this Kimahri is going to run out of skills by doing that either. We're going to be seeing this a lot while this is going on. So we've fought Prominence before. He's the boss that in Rydia's Lost Chapter, and he's popped up I think as a mini boss in a couple of other places, but he's never too threatening. The main thing is just making sure the brave count stays low on the main boss, Prominence himself, not his little buddies, but on the main Prominence himself, just so that you don't have to worry about, for example, him just coming out of nowhere and killing one of your party members. He also has an all attack when he's big. I forget what it's called exactly, but it's an all attack, and when he uses it, it hurts quite a lot if he's been getting a lot of brave in the meantime. So, look at those nice big numbers that we're seeing there. Okay, I'm going to just use a landslide here. All this defense and attack down from all these buffs and debuffs and things are really handy here. Really keeping that damage mitigated. Alright. I'm going to go ahead and Blood Weapon. Now, one other thing I want you guys to be aware of is that if you kill the Prominence and you still have the minion ones, the little baby ones on the sides, alive, you still have to kill them again. So you don't immediately go to the final round. So keep that in mind. Make sure you are destroying the summons and the boss at about the same time. Or at least before the boss gets another turn when he's about to summon. Okay, so now we'll go in. Cat scratch. Alright, Weapon Master. Just get that AoE damage. Do another one of these because I'm mainly going to try to target all my attacks to B where possible. Alright, we're going to Beast Raid. Get a nice big chunky bit of damage there from that Gao EX. So I actually purpled Gao just for this so I could get through it. And honestly, if all I ever use him for is boss rush for a while, that's okay. That's still very useful. That's making the purple worth it. Okay, let me check how many turns I have left on Drain Weapon. Okay, I have one more. So I'm just going to go ahead and Blood Weapon again. Alright, we're already under the halfway point for this round, and we have 35 actions left, which is pretty good. So, next turn, I'm going to be doing some debuffing again. Ooh, Kimahri. That looks like it hurt, buddy. But he's going to be okay, because we're going to go ahead and heal him up next turn. Alright, debuff time. Okay, we're going to go ahead and counter up again. There we go. So yeah, this is going to take a little bit because we're going to be seeing a lot of those counters, and they just add a lot of time to the video because of the animation being repeated over and over. It's kind of silly, but... Alright, let's go ahead. Let's Weapon Master. And I'll go ahead and hit him. Oh, look at that. Got both of them in there. Lovely. I'm going to wait on doing that. So this turn, I'm just going to go ahead. I know that's not going to be the best damage dealing thing there, but it's okay. So I'm going to go ahead and Nova this time, because I think he's about to do the big fire attack. So. Yes. Oh, I guess Prominence is it's guaranteed hit. Look at that. Well, now I learned something. I should have read the notes before I did this. I forgot to on this one, though. I know how the other bosses work a little bit better. Alright. I'm gonna go ahead, Beast Raid, and next turn I'll Landslide again with my gal. And Blood Weapon. Follow it up with that beautiful Landslide. This is going to be fun. Alright, so I know that some of you guys are probably wondering where my X-Death Lost chapter video is. I do want to let you guys know I've beaten it, but I can't seem to quite get a great recording of it. That's the tricky part. The fight's awful, and I have a lot I want to say about it, of why it's awful, but hopefully if I don't get the video up today, I will get my chance very soon anyway, because the Crystal Chronicles podcast is tonight as of the time I'm recording this. And I have a lot to say. Alright, let's go ahead, Cat Scratch again. And Weapon Master. And almost got the baby Prominence down. Or the big Prominence, I mean, down. And then the baby ones should follow pretty shortly after. Alright. So since I have these two alive, I'm going to actually hit one of these because I'm going to kill the big Prominence in a moment anyway. So let's get a free launch there to take advantage of. And another free launch there. And look at that, they're down. Okay, so this wave does have a Lufenia orb, but it does not have the Lufenia orb show up until under 50%, and what it wants you to do is to launch the targets. when you launch the targets, I think it adds like 10 to the orb. You can almost fully ignore this orb though if you know what you're doing. And we fought these guys a lot before. The main thing to look out for is when they're going to use, I'm going to point out, I can't remember the exact name of the skill, but I know which one it is once I see it. It's the storm. They'll activate Storm Calling, and then they'll use the group Dark attack, and then they follow up with White Light, Black Thunder. So that's the main thing. If you get broken there, it's okay, but just make sure that when that happens, that it's not back to back, because that can be, it can hurt quite a lot depending on your team. And there's that White Light, Black Thunder that I was talking about. I've got a lot of defense and attack down, which is why I'm pretty safe. And Gladio, I think, really helps against this wave as well. So one thing, I didn't point this out, but we got a quality of life a little early, actually. When you see the green aura on the characters, that green aura is signifying that they are a boosted character for the event, obviously. But on top of that, when you use a boosted character, at least one in your team, the whole team will gain boosted stats. This is huge. That's why all my characters have so much brave and stats added on. And it can be any of the boosted characters. It does not have to necessarily be Firion here with the BT or anything. It can be Kane, it can be Leon, it can be Dark Knight Cecil, or it can be what's his name? X-Death. So any of them, they'll give you those boosted stats, and that can help you out a lot with dishing out enough damage in the time frame required. Which, to get all rewards here, of course, requires 2 parties max. Okay. Let's go ahead and use another Seize attack. So also, if you have a burst weapon in your team, that will stop the counter up there that you see, that 12 actions still left. Or if you summon, that will also pause the counter. Those are the only ways you can pause the counter, which will allow you to go over the 50 action limit. Alright, let's go ahead. Let's cat scratch. Alright, and I'm trying to let them take as many turns as possible before I go in and use my burst and everything. So, let's blood weapon. Because I want to get as much off-turn damage as possible. I'm pretty sure I can pretty much end this wave before we go to our second team. Alright, let's beast raid. And there we go, beautiful. I believe I have one more landslide, so we're going to go ahead and use it. Now in a moment we will finally use our Firion burst. But before we go ahead and use that, I'm going to use our Pinello Call. Alright, now we'll go ahead and burst. And once we go under 50%, you'll see that Lufenia orb finally show its face. There it is. And the other one's going to show it in just a second after they buff themselves and everything. There we go. We'll cast off our weapon master now. And finally, we'll finish off with that lovely burst attack. Awesome. There we go. So a little over 1 million damage even. Alright. See, and we have one of them that can be launched. So how about we do that? We're going to go ahead. We're going to make this worth it. The other one should be launchable soon too. So we can take full advantage now of that Firion burst effect in this summon, and they're going to pretty much do max damage the whole time through. It's going to be beautiful. Alright, let's go ahead. Cat scratch. I do realize I have one more of those white winds, or is it 2 more? I don't remember. I'm going to make sure I try to use at least 1 more of them. Alright, let's finish this off with this vortex of arms and another launch. Alright, and look at that, they're at 11 and 14%. And these all attacks are going to miss too. So no gal follow-up, but I felt like because there is a strict 20,000 or less health loss, I want to make sure I have full health before these guys would leave. Anyway, and I also wanted to do that big fat amount of damage in the summon with the 100,000 and 105,000 practically. Okay, let's go ahead. Use the last cat scratch there. I'm going to go ahead and blood weapon because of that splash damage. And my goal here is to do as much as possible before we leave. I'm pretty sure we're going to pretty much finish this. If I don't, it's going to be like 1 attack and then it's done with the second team. Oh, look at that. So there we go. We got into the final round with our team. And we have 1 action left. I wonder who's going to get to go first here to take advantage of that turn. Ah, it's Gal. Okay, well, there really isn't a lot I can do. So we're just going to do a good, nice attack there and just call it done. Alright, so now we get to pick another party. And I'm going to actually have this done in 2 parts. So I'll explain before I end this part that you get a chance you can retry from the start of the wave, which I only have 1 action, so not really worth it. I can retry again by changing my party 1 option, or go to my next party, which, you know, it'll let me then choose new members and new summon, new calls, all that good stuff. Or, you know, I could just give up, but we're definitely not doing that one. We're going to continue, and I do have a very nice second team planned. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. This is Aarolei. I hope you guys stay cool and have fun, and I hope to see you in part 2.